What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a different video. It's going to be more of a ranty video about the state of the game. Now, I've had about a week to digest the trauma that I had last week, and that was pulling my Primal shards during Black Friday or Black Monday or Cyber Monday 2x boosted event for the Primal shards. So, yeah. I pulled, if you guys watched that video, make sure you guys check it out. It's in the video library from Monday. And yeah, I pulled 84 Primal shards on my main account, and I pulled about 60 Primal shards on my alt account. My alt account hit Mercy to pull a Corrosa. So if you guys don't know who Corrosa is, she was the event dungeon boss at one point, and she's kind of a mid mythical champion. So Corrosa's here. She's not bad. She's kind of mid. She has like kind of two average champions kits fused into one champion, which means she's still good, but she's not that great for a end game account. Now, why is that relevant? So on my alt account, I pulled over 200 Primal shards, and Primal shards have been in the game since about over 2 years now, about 27 months. They came in September of 2023. It's December 2025. So yeah, about 27 months. I pulled 200 Primal shards, and I got this champion. Now, she's not going to be a game-breaking champion, and honestly, there's a good handful of mythicals that I would much rather have instead of her. Again, why is this relevant? So on my alt account, I pulled over 200 shards for her. And on my main account, if you guys have been following the account, I pulled, again, over 200 Primal shards back in June, total. It took me almost 2 years to get 200 Primal shards, and I got this mythical, Geralt. And she's totally useless. Like, for me, she's totally useless, especially since Oryx got like some insane AoE DPS champion, and that's Crocat. Crocat is a fusion. He's a legendary. Doesn't require mythical resources and all that stuff. But Geralt, she's totally useless. Her kit is so basic for a mythical champion, it's actually embarrassing. I would say the stock for her is high because the odds of her getting buffed up is probably pretty high. Yeah, her kit's just not good. Kit's just not good. It's just too basic. She just doesn't do enough. She's supposed to be an insane damage dealer, a repeat damage dealer, especially with the passive, but she just doesn't hit hard enough. She only has 2 skills. Look at this. She's a mythical champion, but she has 2 skills. It's actually insane. So I pulled this champion over 200 into Mercy, and it took me almost 2 years to get those shards. So like I said, on Cyber Monday, I pulled another 80, and I got nothing. I got nothing again. I looked at my Mercy, and I'm back up to 120 or 125 Primal shards pulled since Geralt on this account. So needless to say, I'm kind of fed up, to be honest. It's very likely, or if I hit Mercy again, if I have to pull 200 shards again to reach Mercy for the Primal shards. So you see Primal shards here. You get 10% after the 200th summon. 10% increase in your chances. So if I have to reach 200 summons again, 200 Primal shards again to pull my first mythical champion, I'm going to lose my mind. That means that I potentially could be another 6 months, 9 months, 10 months without getting a single mythical champion. So I'm complaining a bit here. Usually I'm just all for RNG. RNG is fine. RNG gives, in my opinion, RNG gives players that are that have a less chance of winning. For example, in arena, that have less chance of winning. RNG gives those players a chance to beat players that are better than them. So if everybody had equal chance, equal skill, it's all going to come down to how strong your champions are. And that's not really that fun, right? Especially if you're somebody with lesser champions, right? So RNG, improves those odds for players that need the odds boost, right? But in this case, I just want to complain here a little bit about how difficult it is, first of all, to get these Primal shards. I got about 80, 85, 80, 85 over 6 months. And I think that's near top of range for somebody that does not spend money in this game and in a very competitive clan that can win very many of the clashes that they're in. So I pulled, in total, in my lifetime since primals have opened, I pulled 320, 325 Primal shards, and I've gotten one mythical champion, and that's Geralt. And it's absolutely backbreaking to do this grind over 2+ years and have a Geralt to show for it. So my gripe here is mainly how hard it is to actually get these primal shards. If primal shards were more like void shards, perhaps maybe if you got them at the same amount frequency as void shards, then you can kind of maybe justify how seldom we get the mythical champions. But it makes sense that they're rare, but if they're so rare, they should be powerful. And when you pull them, they should be game changing. And if you expect somebody to wait 2+ years, develop their account for 2+ years to get all the primal shards and then pull a champion that does not do anything for their account, I don't think that is a very good way of designing this system. Obviously, this system is designed to, get spenders to spend, right? Get spenders to spend. So for players that are just trying to collect the resources in game, like I said, I collect 60 on my alt account in 6 months, and I don't even play live arena on that account. It's an end game account, so I do collect quite a bit, and I collected almost 85 on my main account, and this is in a very, very competitive clan where we win most of our clashes, get most of the rewards and all that. So 85 is definitely near the upper end. So if you expect players to, do this grind for over 2 years and then pull a champion that does not change their 2-year-old account, I don't think the champions are good enough to warrant that grind. So that would be my first complaint. I feel like my accounts basically have stagnated the last 2 years since primals have came into the picture, because I just haven't been able to pull anything. I pulled a Geralt. So like I said, I pulled Geralt. I don't use her. I don't book her. She's not bad. I built her out to be used in one Centrano stage, and then I decided that she wasn't even the best use for her. She wasn't even the best use case. It was against Fire Knight hard and all, Fire Knight boss in Centranos, and she wasn't even the best option. So I just shelved her after that. And like I said, for orcs, you don't even need her for DPS because Crowcat is just so insane with Shy. So I got her, and I got Aphidus from a remnant. So I got really lucky with Aphidus. He's actually a decent champion. I do use him in faction wars and stuff. But he's not a game-changing mythical, right? He's not a mythical that you really need for an account that's over 2 years that's able to farm 60 to 80 primal shards in 6 months. It's just not a champion that you need. And he was already buffed. So those are my, big gripes here. So basically my account has been stagnant ever since primals came into the picture. And if you're not progressing your account, then other people are, and then you're falling behind. And that's kind of how it works at the end game. So again, this is an end game gripe. I can handle all content and all that stuff. But for a player hoping to progress their account, this is not really it. And this is just a system that seems overly broken and doesn't really reward those that actually do the grind. All right, so a bit of a long-winded big grind complaint there. Obviously, I still play this game. I still love this game. The grind is one of the big draws to this game, to be honest. So I, will still continue playing and still grinding for whatever mythicals come my way. But to think that I will potentially be 6, 9, 10 months in the future, potentially without a mythical, just means my account falls behind 10 more months without getting a mythical, unless I get something from remnants, of course. All right. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about that. And I want to keep going with this kind of complaint video here. So the next one is going to be relics. Relic crafting. Relic's the next big thing. Obviously, they're monetizing it, making it very difficult, end game resource and all that. So I'm saving all my mythical relic materials, trying to craft mythical relics. So if you guys have been on the channel for a little bit, you guys have watched some of my mythical crafts. I would probably say I probably crafted maybe like 15, 16, maybe 20, somewhere around there, 15 to 20 total mythical crafts. And I've gotten one mythical. One mythical from all those crafts. One mythical from all those crafts, guys. It's supposed to be a 20% chance. It's supposed to be a 20% chance of getting a mythical. So, I'm not the only one to have these kind of gripes about the mythical crafting system. I've seen people with even worse. I think 30 plus, 35 plus without a mythical. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, they definitely should probably implement some kind of increasing mercy, some kind of increasing mercy, maybe after 10, maybe after 20. I mean, somewhere around there, they should probably give people a chance to get that mythical instead of potentially just going forever without one. Although probability wise, it's probably very difficult. So for me, I've only gotten one. It's actually insane that I see people with like 10 of these, and that's just basically luck. But of course, I've seen, free to play players with 10 mythical champions, and it's just crazy luck. So again, this is just something that's really hard to get. This resource, really, really hard to get. And the RNG behind it is just so crippling. And again, if you're not getting them, if you're not getting the resources, then your account's falling behind. Your account's falling behind. I play this game every day. I grind all the resources every day, because I can't accumulate the resources any other way, right? And if you don't get some of these end game, materials or end game resources or end game gear, your account's falling behind. And that's just the way it goes, right? So it's just not a great feeling knowing that your account is falling behind, even though you're doing everything in your power to grind everything you can. So I feel like perhaps a mercy system would make sense. I don't want to say increase the drop rates, because having the scarcity on these is actually a good thing, I think, and making them hard to get. But I feel like perhaps some of the mythicals that pop out should be balanced to be strong. Not all of them are strong or equal footing strong, but they did say that they will be buffing some of the relics in the future. So we just have to hold out a little bit for those. Again, once you get one of these, they should be, incredibly strong, incredibly powerful. And I think for the most part they are, but they definitely can make some improvements here as well. Moving on to the next endgame gripe here I have, and it's going to be from the Altar of Souls. Now, if you guys, again, watched one of my previous pull videos, the Eternal Soulstone, the big guy here, we did have a boost recently on this, and it was 50% to pull 5-star, 50% to pull the 6 stars. And yeah, for this, it's so hard to get these big Eternal Soulstones. It's so hard. It's so hard to get one of these. I think I went out of my way and I got 3, and it took me, I think, 4 months to get those 3. And the odds of getting anything useful from them is so difficult. First, you have to beat the odds of actually getting, a 5-star, 6-star, strong rarity soul, so 30%, 10% of getting a strong rarity legendary mythical soul, and then you have to land on a champion that you can actually use it on. Now I get it, endgame resource, big money maker, they got to make it scarce, right? But at the same time, how do you expect players to work towards these endgame resources and then have them not be immediately impactful? For example, I'm going out of my way to get maybe like half every month. So how long would it take a regular, casual player to get one of these and then pull a 5-star epic from them? It would just be absolutely devastating. Why would someone stick around for 6 months to grind one of these things? And also to build a soul, to build a 6-star soul for a champion, for a heavy regular gameplay grinder, it takes anywhere between 3 months to 9 months, probably 9 months, a year, depending how often it shows up in the shop, because you have to build it from the shop. But to acquire the resources to get the 6-star soul, it's going to take you at least 3 months of full-time grinding in the Iron Twins every day, end game level, top difficulty, etc. And then at that point, you still have to find the souls in the shop. And again, if you've seen my previous videos, it took me over 10 months to get my Marius 6-star soul, which is actually insane. So, and in 10 months things can change. 10 months things can change, and you can't expect the player to grind full time for almost a year to 6-star one champion, and then potentially have that champion be obsolete in that time frame, right? It's actually insane. So again, I've spoken to developers about this, and they acknowledge that it's a bit long. It's a bit long. So they're going to increase the frequency at which the shop opens or refreshes. So they're going to increase that to 6 hours. Now that doesn't really solve the issue. It still means that you're more consistent in finding the soul that you need, but it doesn't reduce the cost, and it doesn't increase how quickly we can get these resources, which is basically the hardest thing in the game. One of the hardest things to get in the game, besides maybe mythical relic materials. But again, if you're asking players to commit, 6+ months, 12 months to grind one 6-star soul for a champion, it's so inflexible. If you choose the wrong champion, you're done, right? Like, I don't know how you recover from spending a year grinding it and then suddenly have your champion be obsolete. So for example, I built a couple champions here from 6-star already. I think the Soulstone Altar has been in the game for a little while now. I think it's probably 3 years now. But I built a couple champions here from scratch, right? Like I built Taras from scratch, Maris from scratch, CP from scratch, Harima from scratch, Trunda, and I think that's about it. Oh, Fabian I built from scratch. Everybody else, that's it, right? So I haven't even built that much over like 3 years time, right? But I can tell you guys that I don't use some of these champions as much as I did before. And when I see like the 6-star commitment to them, it's kind of like, wow, this is the cost that was sunk into these champions. So, for example, like Trunda, 6-star, she's great. I don't have Yumiko, so I can't really maximize her damage output. She's still in one of my best Hydra teams, but my Titus team is actually performing way better than my Trunda team, and my Titus is not 6-star. So I do have a 6-star Trunda, but I don't really use her as often as I should, considering the amount of investment I put in her. Same thing with Taras, same thing with Harima. Both of these champions were my main arena champions, but lately I just don't use them very much anymore, and they've been kind of relegated to like, tier B levels, right? Even somebody like Sifi, who's very good champion, I don't really use that often because of her weaknesses. She has variable weaknesses in arena as well. So what I'm trying to get at is basically like you commit to these kind of end game resources. So primal shards, mythical relic materials, and then blessings, and you commit huge amounts of time. We're talking 6+ months, like in all three of these areas, and I'm talking at an end game level. And then at the end of it, you don't really get anything to show for it. You don't get anything to show for it, right? It's really difficult. So the Eternal Soulstones, if you guys, like I said, if you guys saw, I pulled, if you guys put two videos together, I think I pulled 11 epics in a row. I pulled 11 epics in a row with 2x boosted chance. So 50% chance at 5-star, 50% at 6-star, and then 60% at epic. So I basically flipped tails or heads. I flipped the wrong side of the coin, 10, 11 times in a row. And it happens. It happens, but it's such a bad feeling. It's such a bad feeling. Again, how can they fix this? Maybe give away a little bit more, be a little bit more generous with what it is. Maybe make the wish list a little bit more useful. Maybe allow us some kind of flexibility with maybe converting previously blessed champions, like some kind of refund or partial refund back, something like that, so that you can actually recycle some of your previously spent resources, which is mainly time for non-spenders, so that they can actually get something back. Now, why am I talking about all this stuff today? So obviously Cyber Monday just happened, or last Monday just happened, and when we had the 2x Primal boost, and then that didn't go so well for me. I was a little bit, a little bit upset, but obviously, you gotta move on, right? You can't dwell on it and stuff. But why am I talking about all this stuff now? The big thing here is that Plarium has tried to give players, non-spenders, a way to, still be able to be powerful in this game, but they definitely forced you, or not forced you, but they gave you those ways of getting powerful, but through grinding. So I don't mind that. I don't mind grinding and then ending up being powerful. So for example, Empress, great champion, amazing champion, and this is huge for non-spenders. Huge champion for non-spenders because he's actually a relevant, strong, good champion, great champion, right? Great champion. Marius, great champion. He's not mythical, but he's probably the best. He's for sure the best non-mythical in the game, like in my opinion. And he could be arguably one of the best champions in the game. And it's amazing, right? You have to grind for him. He's a game changer when you get him, and he's amazing. Carnage, same thing. Carnage, amazing. Amazing champion, lots of grinding. You can grind for him, you can achieve him. These are technically free champions. You can get in the game, spend time in the game, get these champions, get powerful, get the souls for Carnage as well by continuing your grind. So you get stuff for your grind, right? You get stuff for your grind. Empress, you get stuff for your grind. You get stuff for your grind for Marius. Lydia, still relevant today after many years in the game. So very, very good. Mikage, same thing. You grind the fusion epics. You get her. Very, very strong champion. Now, why am I talking about all this stuff today? So first, I want to talk about Faction Wars. Polara. Polara, she needs a buff. She's good, but she's not great. And when you have to finish Faction Wars hard to get a champion that is not great, not that level, account changing level, I don't think it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling to achieve a champion after a big achievement like finishing hard Faction Wars and then getting a champion that just isn't very good. She's not on the same level of account changing as those champions that I just mentioned. Now, I don't really see them buffing her because I think she's good enough that they won't buff her, but I don't think she's at that same level as getting Empress, for example, getting Lamasu, getting Mikage. They're not that same level, right? So now finally we come to the point where we're going to talk about the most top of mind thing here, and that is going to be this new mythical champion from the new Grim Forest area. And when I saw this and I read this kit, and I was like, this champion is going to be in this end game area. She is not. She is not the game-changing champion that we hope she would be after having a brand new area of grinding. So we're going to be getting this brand new area, Grim Forest. It looks amazing. It's huge, and it's going to be a monthly grind, probably similar to Carnage. So I'm going to expect 6 months to a year to get this champion. In 6 months to a year, this champion is not going to do anything. I remember when they announced Carnage. Carnage had like 1900 base attack, and at that time it was the highest of any champion in the game. Blah blah blah, and it still is. But I figured that by the time people get Carnage, he just wouldn't be that great. And he actually is not like crazy good at the time when people started getting him, but when people started adopting him, he was actually really, really good because his debuffs are so strong. But this champion, I think her kit is just very, very vanilla. It's very basic. It's decent. It's two kits, two decent kits in one. But I just don't see her being that game-changing champion at the end of more end-game content that will actually turn the needle on somebody's end-game account. And especially one that will take, close to a year to probably get this champion. That's my guess. That's just my guess. So to me, as a player that can't acquire these things easily, can't acquire mythical champions easily, like non-spender, right? And in my case, not lucky, not spender. This champion is not generating that level of excitement for me, and it doesn't feel that rewarding to me. Similar in the same kind of sense that Polara does not feel overly exciting to me as well. So it's just a bit of a bummer. So the last couple days, the whole week, ever since the whole Primal pulls and all that, and then just reflecting on how many Primal shards I've pulled ever since they introduced it, a bit of unluckiness. I don't know, statistically, I think it's 10% chance of reaching 200 shards, 200 Primal shards without pulling a mythical champion. So I hit that 10% twice already on 2 accounts. I hit that twice, and I'm on my way to hitting it a third time. I'm at 120 towards my mercy already. So, it's a little bit disappointing, and especially with the amount of time that it takes to reach that, it's just really disappointing. And then seeing this Anaxia champion at the end of the Grim Forest content, which requires more time, more grinding, it just doesn't feel like it's a nice payoff for non-spenders, especially if we fast forward like a year into the future when perhaps there's going to be just more power creep with champions being introduced and all that. This champion just doesn't feel like it's going to stack up. So anyways, guys, it's just some things that are on my mind lately, especially about my account, especially about my progression, about the end game grind as a non-spender and all that. I've been playing this game for over 5 years, so my account's going to be a lot different than what your 6-month-old, 1-year-old account's going to look like. But yeah, just looking for some good RNG. I guess that's the moral of the story. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Thanks so much for watching until the end. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about all this. Am I up the creek on all these complaints? Is this just whale problems, end game problems? You guys let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching until the end. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.